In today's video, we're going to go through the Downtown Toronto Condo Market by specific community and the Downtown Toronto Condo Market as a whole. To do a basic analysis, we're going to break down condo prices by community, days on market, and assess if the Downtown Toronto Condo Market is in a healthy state or not, despite the overall cooling GTA real estate market. That and much more in today's video. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Sam, the Toronto real estate agent working with buyers, sellers, landlords, and tenants. On this channel, we like to discuss all things Toronto and GTA real estate market oriented, market stats, market trends, buyer advice, seller advice, building reviews, tenancy laws, and everything else in between. So if you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe, or you can find my contact information on the screen and in the description box. Feel free to get in touch with me with any further questions you may have. If you want to do a little bit of your own due diligence before you do get in touch with me, simply enter my name into Google, find my Google reviews of those clients who have worked with me in the past and who continue to work with me to this day. So the Downtown Toronto Condo Market is one of the main topics on this channel because frankly, it's one of the topics that most people are interested in. And of course, it's a very important sub-community, large sub-market, but nonetheless a very important sub-market within the grand scheme of things. So in today's video, I thought, why not look at how it is holding up within the last month and 15 days. At the time of recording of this video, it's October 14th. We only have 13 days full of data with regards to October sales in the Downtown Toronto Condo Market. So we're going to be looking at the period of September 1st to October 13th. Now, in one of my most recent videos I made where I talked about how condo prices were slightly up month over month across the GTA, not just Toronto, but that includes Etobicoke, North York, Yonge and Eglinton, Richmond Hill, Markham. In today's video, we're going to focus on just downtown and get into the details and the specifics of just the Downtown Toronto Condo Market, as opposed to that video where it was about the condo market across Toronto and the GTA at large. So what are we defining as Toronto? Well, to see what I'm defining as Toronto, you have to refer to the TREP maps. And here I have pulled up the TREP maps, which has the municipalities as indicated by the C's here, C1, C2, C8, C9, to the W's on the west side of the city and the E's. And Downtown Toronto as defined in this video, and most of my videos, I would say 90% of my videos, is this portion of C1 and C8. Here, if I go to satellite, you can see a little bit better what areas we're talking about. And we're going to actually minimize this even more between C1 and C8 when we go up into the corner here and we toggle communities. Here, once we toggle communities, we see that what areas are considered between the C1 and C8. Now, C2 is also technically downtown as well, mostly with regards to the annex and southern parts of Moore Park here. But really 99%, the crux of downtown Toronto is areas like Little Portugal, Trinity Bellwoods, Niagara, Waterfront C1, Kensington, Church Yonge Corridor, Bay Street Corridor, Moss Park, Waterfront C8, Regent Park, Cabbagetown, and of course, once again, some people may consider parts of E1 as downtown. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be looking at C1 and C8. So we're going to do this health check on two fronts. Number one, I want to see how much activity there is with regards to the buying side of things. Then I want to check in terms of average prices, days on market, and which areas are outperforming other areas, which areas are lagging behind, and prices by community. So let's first assess where things are from the demand side of things. And really one of the best analytical tools for this on the demand side of things, the buyer side of things, is the Broker Bay Analytics. It's not exhaustive, but it helps us paint a pretty good picture. So this analytics tool is probably the best for the following categories: showings and offers. It's the only tool available that I can actually think of that can tell us something about how many showings a given area gets and how many offers. Now here we have toggled GTA at large, but of course we want to close this. We want to add the custom area of downtown Toronto, which is the boundaries I showed you. And we're gonna untoggle everything but condo apartments and save that. And as we discussed, our time frame, the window of period where we're taking a look at is from September 1st to October 13th, yesterday. And here we have it on a daily view. We can also toggle between a daily and a weekly view. But if we go back to daily for a second, we see that in this period, overall, there has been 941 new listings. Once again, this is not exhaustive, but it's pretty close. But let's focus on the main two items here, which is number of showings. As we can see, showings, if we look at it on a month-over-month basis, is slightly up. Of course, showings happen to peak around, for instance, here 17th, the 24th, October 2nd, and this is indicative of the weekends, right? These are mostly Saturdays and Sundays. So overall in this period, we've had 13,000 showings, which is down 3% month over month within downtown Toronto for downtown Toronto condos, and down 5% year over year. So although it's down 3% and 5% respectively for month over month and year over year, still not a demonstrative drop. People are, for the most part, still interested in seeing what's out there. Now, the interesting thing is when we toggle between offers and showings. Here, when we go to offers, we see that offers made are down a little bit month over month. And once again, since this is a period of September 1st to October 13th, month over month is not technically month over month, it's just period over period. Of 527 offers submitted during this period of September 1st to October 13th, which is down much like showings month over month by a factor of 2%, but unlike showings, down substantially year over year, which is not surprising whatsoever because last year at this current moment in time, September to October, although it was not the peaks of the market by any means, it was a much hotter market in terms of market activity. So this indicates to me clearly further elaboration of what I've been talking about. There are people still out there seeing things, it's just less offers are being made, and that's kind of the pent-up demand we're talking about. And it's the same situation with the supply side of things as well. There is pent-up supply, and why this pent-up supply, pent-up demand is occurring, check my most recent video where I said the simple truth about the Toronto real estate market. Buyers and sellers are waiting, seeing what's going to happen with inflation and the Bank of Canada's reaction to inflation rates, as followed by the Fed in the States as well. This causes inactivity because of the waiting game, for lack of a better word, Mexican standoff that's happening between buyers and sellers. But let's move forward with prices here. So overall, within the downtown Toronto condo market, within those boundaries, in terms of average sold prices from September 1st to October 13th, and here MLS is a much better measure of what average sold prices and median sold prices are as opposed to the Broker Bay analytics I showed you. But let's break that down to community by community. The overall average sold price across C1 and C8 since September 1st of 2022 within the Toronto condo market and the downtown Toronto condo market is $817,000. Now that accounts for all these areas, and it's a pretty vast area, a lot of sales. However, year over year, this is a far lower average as compared to last year. But let's break it down a bit more, shall we? Let's break it down by community as we discussed. And one of the areas that I'm really keen on is Bay Street Corridor. Based upon 48 sales, the average sold price in Bay Street Corridor has been $890,000 with a median of $818,000. To give you a better understanding of how much Bay Street Corridor is excelling, if we take a look at the neighboring sub-community here, Church Yonge Corridor, which is the western half of C8, and they're side by side, right? Of course, on a daily basis, if you're living in downtown, you're not thinking of it. If you cross the street, for instance, on Dundas Street here, and you go to, if you go from Dundas and Bay to Dundas and Church, you're not thinking, oh, I'm not now in a different municipality or a different community. But for the sake of price analysis and market analysis, Church Yonge Corridor has a far lower average sold price and median sold price. Here, the average sold price is at $804,000 with a median sold price of $700,000. This is based upon more sales, around 70 sales. And the inventory options here tend to be a little bit older. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of quality buildings in Church Yonge Corridor as well. But what tends to carry down the average is this stretch between Gloucester and Gerrard. because you have a lot of older buildings that don't have much appreciation upside, but are really good end user quality buildings. If we go a little bit further south to Waterfront C1, which accounts for obviously all these areas, as you see, the Fort York, which accounts for Front Street, the Fort York areas, some Wellington, Adelaide, Richmond, this portion of King West, we see, based upon far more sales, because the inventory here is much higher, based upon 140 sales, an average price of $860,000 with a median of $722,000. And properties here are selling around 97% of asking price, whereas for instance with Bay Street corridor, we were looking at around 99% of asking price. So this is once again an indication of how much Bay Street corridor is excelling, but Waterfront C1 is holding up as well. Don't get me wrong, all these prices are still down from peak market. We're not looking at what's performing the absolute strongest. We're seeing what's holding up the best. If we migrate a little bit further towards, for instance, the west side of the city, southwest, an area like Niagara, which is an area I'm not the biggest fan of. If you watch this channel for a long time, I think there is very mediocre condo options there. Here, we're looking at an area that's probably one of the cheapest in downtown, because in the same set period, we're looking at an average of $763,000 with a median of $688,000. Now, even though it's the cheapest, it's actually held up the best in terms of days on market and the price of selling relative to asking. You know why? Because when there is a downturn in the market, the cheapest areas tend to perform a bit better. When I say a bit better, once again, they tend to hold up a bit better because the floor is already low, so it's harder for the floor to drop more. As a result, buyers who maybe due to increasing interest rates get their borrowing power a little bit reduced and limited, they kind of migrate down the food chain in terms of available inventory, both in terms of, you know, types of properties and also areas, right? They might migrate to cheaper areas. So although prices here are far lower than Trinity Bellwoods, even Little Italy, definitely Bay Street corridor, Waterfront C1, Church Yonge corridor, properties are actually staying on the market for less of a period, and they're selling closer to asking because asking is already very low anyways. So those were just some of the main communities in downtown Toronto, and I went through every community. I can't cover it in this video because the video will be far too long. Nonetheless, overall, I must say that the downtown Toronto condo market is in a far more healthy state than other condo markets, Western Toronto, Eastern Toronto, Midtown, and North York, but still nonetheless in unison with the overall GTA real estate market across all property types is of course on a downward trend. It is retaining its value better than other areas, but I expect prices to drop further. Now, within downtown Toronto condo itself, the areas that are performing the best are the business sectors, the financial districts, and areas that are a little bit more residential, such as Trinity Bellwoods or Little Italy. The area and the communities that are performing a little below that are the more entertainment, lifestyle oriented communities within downtown Toronto. And on a final note, what I've seen with downtown Toronto, because I actively worked in the downtown Toronto condo market, you know, I was there this past month with 3 different buyers on multiple visits on showings. And what I've been seeing is a lot of properties getting offers, but deals not coming into fruition. There is simply a blockade, a no man's land that buyers and sellers are refusing to cross for most properties on the market. As we went through it earlier, properties are getting showings, they're getting less offers, of course, by 30%, and the ones that are getting offers is simply not closing. There's a threshold where buyers are refusing to cross, there's a threshold where, of course, sellers are refusing to cross, and oftentimes, I would say 80 to 75% of the time, it comes down to price. Anyways, that's Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate, Remax Realty Realty Inc. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to get in touch with me with any further questions. My contact information in the description box. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.